Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Tyler Perry, it looks like this lawsuit could actually officially end your career. You guys remember when Christian Keys came out, I think over a year ago, and accused somebody who sounded like Tyler Perry of really weird stuff. Now, it never turned into a full-blown lawsuit, but baby, there is somebody named Derek who just filed a lawsuit against Tyler Perry. It is explosive. It sounds a lot like Christian Keys, and he put in text messages, and he dropped proof. Y'all, let's get into this because honestly, I actually don't know what to think about it. We even dug up Christian Keys' old live, the one he was forced to delete off the internet just to compare what's going on. Now, I do have to say, right? This is actually really, really bad timing because if you guys don't know, Tyler Perry was spotted on something that looked like a vacation with Brian Tanaka. That is Mariah Carey's old boyfriend. Now, a lot of people said, Tisha, you're doing too much. Just because he was on a yacht vacation looking good with Brian Tanaka does not mean that Brian's trade or that there's anything untoward going on. They said that Tyler Perry regularly invites people to join him on trips. I said, and the cast. And I said, okay, that's nice, but where's the rest of the cast? Why is Brian the only one there? But you know what? It's none of my business. What is my business is this lawsuit. So let me give you guys a breakdown about what's going to be discussed in the lawsuit. Then we're going to get into all the details. Okay, so here's what it is, right? This is Derek Dixon. Derek Dixon we're going to get into a lawsuit in a second, but let me give y'all the rundown so you know what to expect, okay? This is Derek Dixon v. Tyler Perry, all right? Now, Derek was hired as a party staffer for Tyler Perry. He said Tyler spotted him, asked him if he was an actor, and allegedly started grooming him with offers of career opportunities, money, and luxury. Tyler Perry allegedly told Derek that his ideal partner would be a man he could financially support, keep emotionally detached, and have SMEX with on demand without strings. Anyway, Tyler allegedly offered Derek a role on The Oval, a new car, and even production on his pilot, losing it, but it came with an unspoken price, SMEXual access. Let's get now. Tyler also allegedly used text messages, alcohol, and a job security to coerce Dixon. When Dixon rebuffed his sexual advances, his character was blank, bang, bang, bang 4 times on the show. A clear message. More importantly, Tyler warned Derek that he causes dreamers to dream bigger and fall deeper into his alleged manipulation. Tyler allegedly got in bed with Derek Dixon uninvited, fondled him, and when confronted, blamed alcohol. Later, another incident involved Tyler forcibly pulling down Derek's underpants, right? And groping him while saying, relax, just let it happen. Tyler bombarded Derek with late night texts, FaceTimes, and comments on his appearance, including thick Derek messages and demands for attention. There was a birthday BJ text. Tyler allegedly texted that's all he wanted for his birthday, were biscuits and BJs. All he ever got were biscuits. This is not funny, but it is a little bit ridiculous. Hold on. They said if Derek didn't comply SMEXually, he risked losing his role, his show, and his future. The lawsuit accuses Perry of classic Harvey Weinstein-style quid pro quo harassment. The post-assault payout. After particularly violent groping, Perry allegedly offered Derek a massive raise and $1 million to produce his pilot, then never tried to sell it due to contract restrictions. And the complaint names Christian Keys as another actor who allegedly experienced similar treatment from the Black Hollywood billionaire strongly implied to be Tyler Perry. Derek claims he developed PTSD, insomnia, panic attacks, and had to go on antidepressants due to his behavior. And the lawsuit claims Tyler weaponized silence, money, and roles, and promises of success in exchange for Dixon's silence about abuse. All right. The final blow. Even after Derek moved to Santa Monica to escape Tyler, the harassment allegedly continued through phone calls and probing sexual conversations. Now, I will say one thing. He clearly has a type. Hold on, y'all. He clearly has a type because y'all remember Christian Keys. He was a little cutie patootie, right? Well, I would go as far to say that Tyler has a type. He clearly has a type for a type of light skin with curly hair or Spanish looking guys. You guys, this is Derek. This is Derek. This is Derek. This is the man accusing Tyler of all this. Now, let me just say, right? All these things are, in fact, alleged. I would want to say this. I hope to God Tyler wasn't this stupid as to lose this kingdom he built because he was trying to get rent boys. I don't understand. Tyler Perry, Diddy, all these people, regardless of their orientation, there must be a million people lining up to be your rent boy, to be your girl Friday, to be whatever you want. And the fact that you have to go after people that aren't interested, that's what gets me. Why can't y'all find somebody that's down for the ish and giggles? Y'all get off, if this can be believed, chasing people, right? Chasing people that's on this BS. Anyway, y'all, let's get into this lawsuit because it is not looking good for Tyler at all, at all, at all. Let's get into this. Let's put there we go. All right, let's get into this. I also have a slideshow of the text messages. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, Tyler, you're not beating these allegations, especially when Christian Keys. Y'all remember Christian Keys? He was a little cutie patootie, right? There was like, listen, Christian Keys described the assailant as someone that we, the audience, deify and a billionaire, okay? Also, the assailant attempted to sleep with him while he was passed out and grabbed his groin 2 times after the assailant apologized for attempting to get in bed with him. Now, I have Christian Keys' interview. I know they tried to wipe it off the internet, but you know your girl has it in her gossip thing. All right, let's get into the summary of action. Okay, where are we at? Okay, let's just start from the beginning. All right. The case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriting. Tyler is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and TV industry. Tyler took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitive dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him, hold on. That's a good point. Hold on. Initially promising him, initially promising Derek advancement and career opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him on the show, only subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, and battery, and professional retaliation when Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances. These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, and while Tyler held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunities. I don't understand. After the Christian Keys fiasco, I would have thought he would have stopped this mess, if it's true. Tyler Perry rose against all odds to become one of the most powerful figures, blah, 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 blah. He received a lucrative multi-year partnership with Oprah Winfrey Network, and his net worth tops $1.36 billion. They talk about the way he owns his own studio. Rather than using his influence responsibly, Tyler has engaged in a pattern of misconduct where he exploited his position of power. He's been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look at him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. Just like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, Roger Ailes, and others in the industry. Tyler's success has led him to believe that money and influence can get him whatever he wants. That belief slowly transformed into the false idea that Tyler can get whoever he wants. There are things in life that money cannot buy, and apparently Mr. Dixon is not one of them. Okay. He sought the one thing its wealth and influence cannot purchase, a sexual relationship with a man. Oh, by the way, you guys, we finally have merch. We have notebooks, we have tote books, we have Diddy Did It t-shirts, and we have Tisa Tell stuff. If you guys want to support, now's your chance. But we have mugs, we have everything. Please go and check out the merch store. I would greatly appreciate it, right? They said, he told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for and would be loyal but emotionally detached. He said, whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy MFer. In essence, he described a one-sided, coercive dynamic with a subordinate, an arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional reciprocity. Thus began his calculated pursuit of Mr. Dixon. This is not Tyler's first instance of sexual exploitation. He has demonstrated a troubling pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees, leveraging his industry power to create a cycle of hope and dependency. First, he offers aspiring actors the prospect of career-defining opportunities, roles that promise visibility and advancement. Then once they're in his professional orbit, he uses the weight of his influence to ensnare them, positioning their success as contingent on meeting his demands in a quid pro quo sexual compromise. This pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power and sexual leverage. Using his influence, Tyler provided vulnerable men with acting positions. I guess he's out the closet now. Acting positions, roles, show contracts, cars, and money. Once the object of his desire was hooked, Tyler would then put them in fear of losing it all unless they engaged in Tyler's perverted desire for sexual gratification. Tyler would easily blank off characters in a show of an actor who failed to indulge in his fantasies. Now, here's the thing, right? If this is true, because it is just a lawsuit, even though it looks like they have them dead to rights, I want to stop and say something. Why is everybody using their company funds like it's their own little playground? Why? Why aren't you at least doing this out your personal account? Why you got to hire? You're using studio funds to bankroll your rent boys, to bankroll your side pieces, to bankroll your alleged sneaky links. Why can't you use your personal funds? Now that this is true, you're about to lose everything. I will say one thing though to read this, right? Right? Let's see. I will say one thing, because I'm looking at the Christian Keys clip. I'm going to give it to you all in a second. The crazy thing is, if you listen to Tyler Perry, right, he's been writing, seems like he's been writing himself into his new series lately. I have the Christian Keys video. Hold on, let me find it. Look, again, if you saw his Netflix series, Beauty in Black, it's obvious that Tyler is actually working through his demons via his characters. Every character is a SMEX fiend, and one of the main characters was an older man in a closet that was obsessed with a Puerto Rican male stripper. Like, that show was clearly written by someone who needs help with the suppression of sexuality. It's insane. It's like he wrote a whole series about his gay fantasies. Anyway, don't forget Christian Keys. As we read this, don't forget that Christian Keys actually said this. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Remember Christian Keys? Listen.
That knows that you're heterosexual and you're sleeping off Hennessy in his guest room because he says it's safe. Because I know.
Christian Keys did a blind, and I believe he settled, because after this, he was up early in the morning doing Jesus, happy as can be. This man settled, but he exposed 2 Black billionaires. One, people allege, might have been Tyler. We never know, because it looks like Christian settled. And the other one, well, I did a whole video about it, but listen to this. Hold on.
I'm back.
Hold on. What happened to the volume?
After a big party, won't say what type, won't say where. I'm asleep. I'm gone because I'm 4-5 Hennessy's deep and not short Hennessy's either. And this dude tries to climb into bed with you. So you spaz out, push him out, like, what the fuck? Get ready to leave. He apologizes, blame it on the alcohol.
1 second. I'm going to leave y'all listening to this. Hold on.
And you try to forgive him. So you're like, all right, man. All right, I'm gone. You shake his hand on the way out, and he tries to grab your penis. He tries to shake and grab your equipment. And you spaz even more. Like, what the fuck you doing, man? What the fuck? Oh, my bad. So you go to leave, he tries to do it again.
It's Christian Keith.
Now, at that point, my only regret is not breaking multiple bones in this person's face. Like beating the dog shit out of this person, right? Because that's available to me at all times. That inner grizzly bear is always available, but in the moment, I'm like, what the fuck? And but you got a guy that's a billionaire, and I got $3,000 in my bank account. Who they gonna believe?
Okay, so keep that little clip. I have more clips, but keep that in mind as we move through this lawsuit. We're going to get through it really quick, but keep that in mind, okay? Now let's move through this. They said in one such exchange, Tyler Perry stated that he could fix things because the actors of a show he was filming should all be scared because they were all shot at and we don't know who lives, meaning that Tyler Perry was going to use this as a tool to gain compliance for his desires. All right, now he puts a text message stream in. He says, but I swear to you, I know how to fix this ish. I love blinking and in effort in a show that no one expects. They said you could, so then Derek responds back to Tyler, you could be sipping Mai Tais counting coconuts right now. Basically being like, Tyler, like, this is what you're using your power and influence for? He said, think about the last episode. They were all blinked at. We don't know who lives. He said, exactly. I'm scared. They should be too. He said, nope, they're not. He said, last I checked, we all got the same bullets in us. Again, so that text message, I got to say, isn't as damning as he would lead us to believe, but it goes deeper because that Tyler could play off. Because I was reading this and I was like, okay, Tyler can kind of play that off because it looked like they were joking, but it gets worse. Derek said Tyler's sexual desire was Tyler's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Derek was working as part of the event staff at a party hosted by Tyler when Tyler noticed him. Tyler immediately offered him a chance to audition for a part in one of his TV productions. Why don't you pay your object of your desire out your personal account? Do any of these billionaires believe in using their own money? So Derek agreed and was on the set with Tyler behind the camera for weeks in close quarters. During that time they were filming, Tyler would send flirtatious text messages to Derek. For example, in one message, Tyler stated that he was jealous when he saw Derek going on a walk with another man named Brad. Listen, Tyler, and he sent screenshots. Why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. Derek said, I don't know. It's just Brad, lol. Lol. And then Derek starts explaining. He just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in. And now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. Then Tyler calls him, Derek, get that Chipotle, I guess. And another message, Tyler stated to Derek, what's it going to take you to have guiltless SMEX? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Again, he said, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless SMEX? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Yes, it's the exact same kind of car, Geo Metro. He said, so Derek said, I'm giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist. He said, that's so cool where you came from. I guess he bought a car. Anyway, he said, unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that. And it's so sad. I guess this is guiltless SMEX. But how you say you got friends in your 50s and 60s and you have yet to come out the closet? Again, that's your own choice if this is actually really you. But what? Anyway, they said you can have freedom from the religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Now, listen, they said Derek carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of his income and opportunity on the one hand, and on the other, a firm boundary against Tyler's advances. Often, when Tyler started drinking, he would demand more and more attention from Derek and get more aggressive with his flirting. Again, that little excerpt I just played you is from Christian Keys, who outlined the same thing. Again, if Christian Keys was actually talking about Tyler Perry and you knew this was coming, why in the world wouldn't you get your shit together? I don't understand. You literally just narrowly dodged the bullet and had to settle with Christian Keys, allegedly. I mean, I don't know. Put it like this. I do not know if Tyler Perry settled with Christian Keys, but if I found out he did, I would not at all be surprised. And now you got this boy coming at you. Oh, what's this? Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. On one occasion, when Tyler was drinking, he started to become extremely annoyed when Derek avoided him. Tyler stated that of the 600 people in his phone book, he only wanted to talk to Derek. He said, "Treat myself right. What you doing, Derek?" Derek was like, "I'm just talking to my sister." He did not want to be bothered. He was like, "Yo, just give me a job and call it a day." Then Tyler texted, "I roll. Fine. Good night. I'll go through the 600 people in my phone book and be annoyed that I don't want to talk to any of them." So then Derek was like, "I'm trying to get off so I can go to sleep." He said, "I understand, lol." He said, "LOL, apparently you're not the only one that's been drinking tonight." Tyler said, "I just started." He said, "They didn't." Okay. Derek did his best to tiptoe around Tyler's sexual aggression while keeping on Tyler's good side. Tyler made it clear that made it clear to Derek that if Derek ignored Tyler or failed to engage with sexual innuendos, his character would die in the next season. Indeed, Derek's character Dale was bang bang 4 times in the chest at the end of his first season of The Oval, and Tyler always held this over Derek's head, implying that Derek's character would survive if Dale kept Tyler Perry happened. Okay. What kept him happy? Once Tyler recognized the extent of his control he had over Mr. Dixon, he escalated his behavior on multiple occasions. He sexually assaulted Mr. Dixon, including one instance when he forcibly pulled off his clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself on Derek. Derek told the drunken Tyler no and attempted to remove Tyler's hands, but Tyler held tightly onto Dixon's wrist. Mr. Dixon was only able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. The day after the assault, Tyler called and texted Derek relentlessly, saying, "I tried. I tried you. Call me. I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can." Finally, when Derek answered Tyler's phone call, Tyler profusely apologized for the SA while blaming it on other things. Tyler continued that he didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. On the very same call where he apologized for the sexual assault against Derek, Tyler told Derek, "And don't worry, we're going to do your show," referring to the pilot that Tyler knew Derek had desperately wanted to produce. Again, this is not the same thing that Christian Keys said. Y'all remember this? Hold on. Let me, hold on. Okay. So anyway, sorry guys. So Tyler, let me play you the second Christian Keys clip, right? Here in this clip that you're going to hear, Christian recalls meeting. This was the first person that outed Tyler a while ago. He recalls meeting with a black male billionaire that he's pitching his project to. When Christian's manager left and the assailant dressed sensually and ordered strawberries and champagne, Christian states that this person paid off the debts of HBCU. I'll forget that. We'll get to that in a second. This is where Keys recalls an incident where an actress Hold on. Listen to this.
While my manager was there, everything is everything. I got my Kinko's presentation with the plastic cover on it. I paid good money on this, good money. I'm running it down like you can invest in this, that, and the other. As soon as my manager leaves, he moves into a conference room. And I'm like, okay, it's a conference room. Nothing sketchy about this. Didn't realize that the doors on the side of the conference room right there led into his suite. So about 8 or 10 minutes, I'm nervous in my phone. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? You changing? You got to use the bathroom. It's a number 2. Cool. He comes back in silk pajamas, silk robe, right as they're delivering strawberries and champagne like this is Pretty Woman or a fucking date. Now, I'm like, wait, this ain't that. I'm not him, and this ain't that. I'd love for you to invest in my company. He probably should have, because he would own a piece of all the Queen's Men. The books have already sold. The 6 or 8 books I'm about to release, all of that. He would have had a piece of all of that monetarily, but he didn't. He was thinking with his dick. And yeah, he came back in, grabbed a strawberry, sat down, and I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. You got my presentation, I'm gone. He's like, are you sure? I said, yeah. Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. He's like, are you sure? That second, are you sure, means if you don't stay and do what I want, you're not going to get what you're hoping for. Now, this particular guy.
Okay. So anyway, that was Christian Keys. He was the first one to kind of like allegedly blow up Tyler's spot. Again, nobody knew it was a confirmed or not. Okay. But just to pose that with this lawsuit. Now, let's be fair. He could have just like jumped on what Christian was saying, and everybody knew that Tyler was out in these streets, but yet and still, he seems to have proof. He seems to have proof. He seems to have proofs. Okay, so get this, right? Shortly after Derek got a call from Tyler Perry's lawyer saying that Christmas had come early and that Derek was getting a substantial raise and the show was greenlit. Tyler's attorney explicitly warned Derek not to tell any other actor on the show about his raise because no other actors were getting a raise, only Derek, okay? He kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and that the harassment, Tyler kept telling Derek that he was sorry and that the harassment would not happen again. However, the harassment and assaults continued. Tyler would also try to deflect the blame for the sexual assault by saying Dixon didn't have a strong enough no, okay? Again, this is one thing. Nice Santa Monica, nice. Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? You gotta have a strong no. He said, Derek was not feeling him. He said, yes, it's strong. My mom literally thinks I'm going to sell my soul to the Illuminati. She heard Kanye say it's real. This is Tyler. Well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. He said, I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. Joking. I hear you. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he said, well, the only one, I know when Tyler heard that, he said, I could do that. He said, well, the only one who could have gotten that for you through SMEX is in prison. So just stick to the no unless you're really into him. Again, Tyler keeps walking that line between, if this is Tyler, between homie, lover, and friend. So you're trying to say that Weinstein could have got you that Oscar. And then on the other hand, you're trying to get into this man's pants. And he's like, I might do it for an Oscar, even though he did say joking. Okay. Listen, here's all I do want to say. I know there's a lot of people that's going to be like, oh my God. Pete said, I bet you Monique is busting up. Monique need to shut up. And look, I think she did reunite with her son. So, okay. Blessed Child said, Meet the Brown, the fat kid that was bullied on the show, spoke out how he want to have him wants to have a gay relationship with his bully. Check out of his inner. I will, blessed child. Big Mama Sim said Beauty and Black had more ding dongs in it than a Hostess factory. Me and my husband PJ watch you daily. What's up, PJ and Big Mama Sim? Keep doing your thing. Much love. Yo, I just don't understand what is going on. I don't understand. How hard is it? If I had $1 billion, you think I would be messing with these nignogs? You think I would be trying to have these nignogs like NDMs trying to, like, men or women? I don't care what I was into. I don't care if I was into pink polka dot aliens. Do you think I'd be wasting my billions trying to seduce pink polka dot aliens that didn't want me? What is wrong? There's something about the power and the coercive control. I don't care what y'all say. There is something about it that is really weird to the point of criminal. Oh my God, the Pitbull mom, thank you so much, said, there's just too much going on here. I went to dinner and this happened. Exactly. I just don't understand. How can you have that much money and influence and you trying to seduce somebody that don't want you? Hire somebody to role play with you. Find someone that you really like you, that they actually rock with you. Have them sign NDAs, put them on camera and be like, do you consent? But do you really consent? And then have them role play. Oh no, how am I going to get an Oscar, Mr. Parent? But y'all don't want that. They don't want that. They want someone that's just like, ew, yeah, get away. And then they want to seduce. Again, I have heard sometimes when people that are bisexual or they like same-sexual relationships, that they love seducing people that aren't into the same lifestyle. It's like the thrill of the chase. They like it. Even though I would argue if you can seduce someone into sleeping with you, I mean, are they I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Nurse Nightingale said Walter Lee Hampton knew him too to be flaming gay. Really? I did not know that. Also, Colleen Salon said, so do we think for a second that Harry and Meghan will stand up for him? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. You know, that is, hold on a second. Hold on. That's an interesting question. One second. Trying to see if I can get Mel NYC Reviews to pop in here and have a chat, if you will, right? Listen, that's an interesting question. I just don't understand how you can have that much money and power and you into these shenanigans. Does no one want to build an ice cream factory? Does nobody want to house the homeless? Does nobody want to feed children? I just don't understand. Am I too normal? Y'all would know if I became a billionaire. I would literally buy a whole chain of Baskin Robbins franchise and give free ice cream to the homeless, to the poor, and to kids after school. If they came in and showed whenever they got an A, get all the ice cream you want. I would start free unlimited ice cream. I would do so much with my money. Do you think I would have time to be tricking on somebody? Like, what the hell? I don't understand. Do money be doing weird things, right? Mary from Virginia, thank you so much, said, lol, these folks with money are foul. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. The things I would do with money. I would buy my friends and family so much, and with what it was, at no time would I be like, yo, let me start hiring people to trick on. Baby, no, it's free. I have a chain of Baskin Robbins, one in every major city. Go in when you want. It's free ice cream for everybody. Miss Caroline said, my sister and I were shocked by every scene in Beauty and the Black, especially the male ones. The hypersexuality felt intentional, like he hired them to act, but really to play out his own fantasies. Again, it's getting weird. Again, I would build an insulin fat. I would literally be like, yo, everybody come and tell the billionaire what they can do what I can do to make the world better. And whoever got the best proposal, I'll do it. But I would start off just for shits and giggles with ice cream, because I don't care what y'all say, ice cream can cure a lot. The insulin, the help, yes, I would do what I can, but I would literally start, right? And Miss Caroline, thank you so much. I would literally start with just trying to spread a little bit of joy and then see how I could build up. That's why I don't understand how these sickos be doing that. Issa May, thank you so much for the super chat. Anyway, listen, it's just weird. Listen, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Tyler revealed through these text messages that the no he was referring to was Dixon's no to SMEX in exchange for promotion in the industry, classically known as quid pro quo sexual harassment. Tyler sent this message to Derek because that is exactly what Tyler Perry was doing. At some point, Derek left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance from Tyler Perry. However, even long distance, he continued to sexually harass him. You guys, this is actually really, really, this is actually really sad. This is sad. This is sad. This is sad. Listen, get this, right? He gives more detail right here. Shortly after the event, that's where Tyler met him and offered him a job. Tyler sent Derek several text messages. She would love to help him find a job and change his life, insisting they should make it happen. Tyler sent Derek what turned out to be an ominous warning saying, be careful hanging around me. I cause dreamers to dream bigger. I cause them to not only believe, but do. Let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have to be fulfilled. Nothing else will suffice. The very next day, Tyler sent an email which contained an offer for Derek to play the role of Dale in Tyler's television series Ruthless. Tyler said it was a small role that could get a lot bigger. They'd be setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. At this point, Derek did not know that Tyler was interested in men, because I didn't know either, and he was looking for a sexual relationship. He assumed that Tyler was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Derek always felt he had. Derek filmed his roles in Ruthless in mid-November and went back to his job as an event staff in Legendary Events. About 1 month later, Tyler bought and gave Derek a new car because he hated his Jeep. Derek was surprised and elated. Derek had no idea he was being set up by Perry for extreme dependence. In December of 2019, Derek requested to be part of an event staff of another event at Tyler's home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. After that event, Tyler started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Derek give him some attention. On New Year's Eve, Tyler texted Derek, I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas or went to the supermarket or flew commercial or packed a bag or had good smacks. It was before I was rich. Well, baby, give all that money away. Derek found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from someone like Tyler Perry. It does sound like he's grooming him and trying to loosen him up to the idea of being in bed with him alone. But being new in the industry, Derek played along by downplaying the sexual comments and hoping that Tyler would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor-writer. So guys go through the same thing girls do. Got it. Soon after Derek began giving Tyler more attention, Tyler made his move on Derek. In January 2020, just a few months after his first acting gig, Tyler invited Derek to his home in Douglasville, Georgia. Derek showed up in the home hoping he'd be given a chance to befriend Tyler and show him how talented an actor he was. At Tyler's home, Derek was served many alcoholic drinks, which Tyler also partook in. Derek felt that Tyler was genuinely interested in his talents as an actor and writer. Tyler made no sexual advances to Derek while they were drinking, and conversation was friendly. At the end of the night, Tyler told Dixon not to drive home. Same thing Christian Keys said he did. Tyler said it was dangerous and that Derek was too inebriated to drive home. Didn't Christian Keys say this happened? Derek agreed and was escorted to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was a ruse to allow Tyler to assault him. Derek was tired and did not have pajamas, and so he got into bed only wearing his underwear. Baby, you should hold on, y'all, really quick. Let me drop. I have a call-in link. I'm going to drop this call-in link. Actually, no. Hold on really quick, y'all. I want Mel to join. Hold on. I'm going to give me a second. Let me give this link to Mel so we can do this. Hold on. Rocket Money. So that's how Tyler gets them, huh? Okay. I see how you get them, Mr. Perry. I see how you get them. Hold on, Mel. If you are listening, I'm sending a link. Again, he said he got in bed only wearing pajamas. That's how you know that he thought it was friendship, because any woman knows if that happens, you better lay in that bed fully clothed, wrapped up like a burrito in the covers, and also make sure you lock that door. Before he knew what was happening, Derek felt someone else slip into bed with him and started rubbing his body around his inner thigh in a highly sexual and suggestive manner. He turned around and saw that Tyler was in bed with him. At this point, his stomach started to turn and he began feeling nauseous. Instinctively, he jumped out of bed and told Tyler Perry, right? He jumped out of bed and told Tyler Perry that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler ignored the comments and told Derek to turn around. Ew, he is giving creepazoid. Ew, he is giving creepazoid. He told him to turn around. Somebody says, no, I'm not into it. And all they can say is, yo, turn around. Hold on really quick. Let me drop this too. Okay, so there we got it. Okay, he told him to turn around. Ew, yuck. So Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Perry then commented on how beautiful Derek's body was. Derek once again told Tyler that he was not into SMEX. He kept informing Tyler that he was not into sex in order to keep Tyler at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Derek's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into SMEX, he started prying further. Perry would send him text messages saying, I hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope you get past that block in your mind soon. He don't like you. Even if he was in a men, he wouldn't pick you. He said, well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Derek is pretty funny if you, hold on. Oh, wait, is my camera off? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Where am I? Hold on. There I am. Derek is, I thought my camera was on. Derek is pretty funny if you ask me. Tyler, somebody said they had to go to therapy to learn for you to touch someone. Derek's funny. He's like, well, I'm working on it. Therapy's helping. I don't blame him. What you need to do, Derek. In response to Derek's frequent assertions that he was not into SMEX, he started to pry further, right? He's just gross. After the assault in January, Derek felt betrayed. Perry continued to call or text him. He continued to call. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Mel? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So listen, we have Mel. Where is? Okay, there we go. We have Mel actually getting in. Mel, listen, I want to get your thing on what you think is going on. Let me just finish this page and then let's get you weighing in, right?
Okay.
He continued to call or text Derek every day, asking him to talk to him more. Derek ignored Tyler, which led Tyler to text him back, Derek, why don't you text me more? The more he ignored Tyler, the more aggressive Tyler became, until finally Tyler offered Dixon a part in a new show called The Oval. Dixon was intrigued. Derek was intrigued and was hoping that this would be the big break he was looking for and a chance for him to display his acting talent. Tyler then told Derek to quit his job at Legendary Events and come work exclusively for him. Tyler was not able to control Derek so long as Derek had a secondary income that was providing for his basic needs. Once he quit his job to his role in the Oval, Tyler started getting more and more personal with Derek, knowing that Derek was now under his control. He would often say things like, I give and give and give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need. Ew. And he's like being annoying and begging, implying that Derek was not giving him SMEX. He started asking Derek about Derek's sexual preferences. It don't matter whether he was gay or straight. You are not his preference. And that role and what role Derek took on while engaging in sexual acts, and whether he was a top or bottom, which is, thank you for explaining that, Derek's lawyer. Tyler further indicated that Derek that he had sex with men before and that he was a top. Tyler further told Derek, he's telling all Tyler's business, that when you have a big D, and when you hit the G-spot right on those bottoms, they go crazy. He further told Derek that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engaged in sexual acts, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Tyler did not have time to deal with the emotional aspect of a relationship, only the physical. Despite these comments, Derek knew the full-throated refusal would land him in a doghouse and might result in his role being cut from the Oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, he put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the sexual type. Oh my God. Now get this. He was written into the Oval. He was a season regular and was therefore expected to quit his job for Legendary Events. His character was written as gay, homeless, and a desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of this is his role play. At the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Derek felt this was a way for Tyler to test Dixon out for a year and see if he could be loyal to Perry. When Derek asked Perry about the shooting, he indicated that if he did a good job, he'd be back, and that the shooting didn't necessarily mean that Derek's character was out the script for future seasons. He commented that Derek's character was only bang bang in the chest, not the head. Derek immediately understood that his job security depended on his relationship with Perry. From this point on, he worked with constant fear of losing his job if he did not engage in the sexual harassment. Shortly after giving Derek the news, and after telling Derek that future seasons were dependent on him doing a good job, Tyler invited Derek to his home in Atlanta. He asked questions and tried to wiggle his way out the invitation because he remembered that what happened last time when the two were alone. However, he knew that his job, security, income, and livelihood depended on his attendance. Derek had seen other employees in Tyler who had experienced sudden deaths on the show when they fell on Tyler's bad side. In fact, Tyler had made it clear to Derek that if he would offer bang bang characters in order to get an actor to be loyal or obedient. When Derek arrived at the house, Tyler gave Derek a warm welcome and was very friendly. Soon after, Tyler started asking Derek a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking him if he liked it rough in bed. Now listen, Tyler then physically reached out and violently grabbed Derek's throat, attempting to physically Derek, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. Do you like that?" Derek was horrified, shocked, and he was in a panic. Derek never thought that Tyler could get so violent and would place his hands on his throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Derek did not enjoy or consent to any of this contact. He was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Due to the onset of the COVID, I know he was thanking God for that COVID, to the pandemic, in March 2020, filming for the Oval was postponed indefinitely. During that period in which filming for the Oval was postponed, Tyler would make FaceTime calls and other contacts to Derek Dixon almost every day, treating him as his on-call pet. Derek felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role and income and career. Perry often asks about Derek's whereabouts and often demanding that Derek respond immediately. When he didn't, he would send text messages to Derek stating, "Derek, grrr, and what are you doing?" Additionally, Tyler was jealous of anyone who Derek had a relationship with. Oh my God. Tyler told Derek that if he caught COVID from his roommate at the time, Derek would not be able to shoot the Oval. He encouraged Derek to move into one of his on-set studio houses owned by Tyler, where Tyler would have more control of his whereabouts. Yo, this is wild. This is what, Mel, jump in here. What do you think about this?
Well,
Mel?
you know what? Yeah,
Okay, go on.
you know what? I think this is given the gay casting couch. Basically, is what it's giving, where you basically you seduce people with job opportunities and stuff like that, and then you want them to do sexual favors for them to keep their job. It's just the same thing, and as we see all the time with the Harvey is actually across the street from Diddy right now. It's the same thing. It's given the same. It's given the same energy. Gay casting couch. Now, I will say that in the gay community it's an open secret. Now, I don't know Tyler Perry personally, but you do hear things for years of people who happen to be muscular, who happen to be kind of, not really good actors, but happen to go to Atlanta to do stuff. You hear stories in the community all the time of different producers who they feel was inappropriate or, did things or, you hear those stories a lot. That's why you do hear those stories. So I'm not,
Okay.
again, this is alleged, but you've heard stories for a long time in the gay community that of things going around a long time.
You actually do. Now, here's the thing though. You've People have heard stories going around, but do you think there's something to the fact that everybody's saying, oh, it's because they can't express themselves sexually? Because to me, it just seems like creepazoid behavior. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to use an excuse, oh, it's because they're in the closet. But being in the closet does not make you harass people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I think that for me, it feels like I've had conversations with guys who when I was younger, when I went to a coming out group, and they said they stayed in the closet longer, primarily because of finances. They felt that if they came out as bisexual or they came out as gay in the world they were in, that they would have had less opportunities financially. So I'm not sure
Mm.
that's an excuse, but I think that with Tyler Perry, his whole persona, his whole image is about being a straight guy who's making these different characters. So I guess for him, it's about money. It's about money staying in the. Well, it's all alleged. So alleged. It could be about money for him staying in the closet, and that's why he becomes predatory again, allegedly, with these actors that he hires and he gives things to, and people who really don't have careers. I'm not sure if it's that he's afraid of living his life. I think it's about money. I think it's about money. That's why he's again he
Go into the thing about the money.
say it again.
But when you say it's about the money, would him coming out the closet mess up his bag? I don't think so.
I think
Am
he,
I
I
being
think he,
naive?
I think he thinks so. I think that's what he
Ah,
thinks. I don't think so. I think that I forgot. I don't know how old Tyler Perry is, but maybe in his mind, he's like, you know what? I'm catering to and pandering to a very conservative, black female, predominantly Christian audience, and I want to give this image of this man who's helping all these women and doing all these wonderful things. I don't want to give this image of a guy, as you just read there, which is I had to bite my tongue when he was reading it, as a guy who come on now, there's a guy who's into to basically gay sex. Ain't nothing wrong with it. He has a preference. He knows what he likes, but obviously, for me, it feels like it's all alleged. It feels like he's really focused on his business and that he wants to get these guys who he find attractive and to do this kind of weird thing where he said, let's have some alcohol. Why don't you come over to my house or my Allen? And then I'm so drunk that that's why I have to fondle you in the bedroom with the door locked and all this kind of. It's like giving, it's just so
okay.
stupid.
Okay, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is in his head because he's no longer on the screen. And even like the conservative women that are his fans, I don't think they would care. So you're right. Maybe it is in his head. He's of a certain age and he's ashamed of it. And he thinks because it's like you have a production studio. Not yes, it's a Tyler Perry production, but nobody is going to not watch Beauty in the Black because they like or dislike Tyler Perry. Do you see what I'm saying? It seems like it's a step behind. Just like nobody is stopping watching Harvey Weinstein films because he's not in front of the camera like Bill Cosby was. It's behind the camera. So half the people don't even remember who's a Weinstein production, this, that, and the third. On top of that, he could make an offshoot. It doesn't have to be Tyler Perry Studios. It could be Lionsgate in production. I don't know. But you're right. I guess he feels ashamed about it. So he is trying to. I mean, at the end of the day, does anybody think? I mean, listen, we don't know what his
Well,
orientation is, but I didn't know that many people were really checking for Tyler Perry about whether he was married, whether he was a sex symbol. You see what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
like, I
So, and so that's the thing too. So for me, again, as a gay man, I don't understand why anybody would be in the closet at all. I really don't get it. But you know what I would think about? I think about these preachers. These preachers, but you have stories coming out all the time, and down south, these conservative preachers about these ideas of them having affairs with guys and stuff, and how it's going to
don't.
rock their congregation, and I feel that's kind of the box that Tyler Perry has put himself into. Now, mind you, for myself in 2025, it seems stupid to me not to be
Mhm.
honest about who you are. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe his mind, he doesn't, I don't know, because it makes no sense to be that wealthy and to basically be going
Mhm.
around like you're a teenager, having to have crushes on people, asking these sort of these very stupid, infantile kind of questions. You're a grown man, own who you are, whatever you are, and you
Yeah.
don't have to harass or sexually harass anybody for no reason. You've made a lot of money, and at this point, listen, if you're right that maybe your audience doesn't like the fact that you are bisexual or whatever, again, alleged, well, that's okay, but you're grown. You have to do it. This is again based on this because you was reading, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I think that is stupid. Because what else was I going to say? It was even now we do in 2025 we have married men who are in the
Yeah.
closet in relationships, and they don't come out all the time either. So I don't know. I just feel like it could be money, it could be family. But when you're reading this article, it's definitely giving me gay casting couch. Absolutely, this guy has to do certain acts or flirt with him or take calls at all hours of the night and
Yeah.
FaceTime and all type of stuff. Yeah, so it's giving gay casting
Well,
couch.
let me actually just say this too, right? It seems like to me, just like with the Diddy and everyone else, they're not going after people that actually want them, that will role play. It seems like the way this lawsuit, this might have to be a part two. This lawsuit is 46 pages long. He got Tyler dead to rights, but the whole point of the matter is he was clearly not interested. And Tyler, for all his time and money, kept pursuing. Listen to this. Once the stage was set, this is after he moved him into the on house studios. Tyler knew he could get away with sexual harassment. During the filming of The Oval in 2020, he engaged in severe and pervasive tirade of sexual commentary, including but not limited to that Derek liked to be choked, right? Um, Following him writing in, because don't forget, Tyler said that he is the writer of his show, right?
Hmm.
Following Derek's character being choked by a cast member in a scene of The Oval. He also said, why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day with Derek? When will you be thick again, Derek? I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person who flirts with me. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is sexual in this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of, and then he put a picture of Nicki Minaj's anaconda, where she references intercourse with male genitalia, and said, I'll gladly choke you right now, referring to Perry's desire to blank Dexon in a sexual way. A suggestion that Derek should get braces behind his teeth, but that he would have to give up BJ's, and that could be dangerous for his partner, especially if they're not certain. Ew. That's when, and it said that's when you were thick Derek, fun Derek, drunk Derek, before COVID Derek. I miss him, just without a butt. Thick Derek would have worked them pants out. He also photographed Derek's buttocks while on the set and sending pictures of him to Derek. Two text messages of many show that Perry was jealous seeing Derek with other men and that he describes Derek as beautiful. Um, yeah. Here's another thing I want to say. Now, and I'm going to have to get it. He was clearly interested in men that didn't want him, right? But also, why is every billionaire so stupid that's coming into these lawsuits where they are using company funds to fund this? And again, Tyler Perry's not bad looking and he's a billionaire. Why was he putting all this effort into harassing this one guy? Go ahead, jump in. What do you think?
You know what? I think I don't know. I just feel it's some insecurity, I guess, there too. He's in the closet, but that part is surprising to me too. When you have that much access, again, it's puzzling to me why you would be in the closet. I don't know, but you have that much access. It's really confusing because in Atlanta, I believe where his studios is at, it's so many gay guys out there, beautiful gay guys, and people
Yes.
who are, he can go out to a restaurant, they give him resumes to him all the time. Like, I
Hmm.
want to work for you. Like, just wonderful, wonderful men. And I think that it may be a little bit. I don't think he's in the Diddy category. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe something else would come out. But it definitely gives where, if somebody says no, as sick as it sounds, and it's very sick. If somebody says no, it seems to turn
Yeah.
on these guys. And when you have power, maybe I'll ask you this. Do you think that when you work as hard as some of these guys do, to basically get to a part in their life where I'm making enough money so in their minds nobody should ever say no to me, and if they do now, um, I have to now focus on that person. It's almost like an obsession that if somebody says no to you, you find them more attractive for some reason. That's what's given to me. That the more powerful you get, you become almost
See,
obsessive. Like, who do they think they are? I'm Tyler Perry. Why would you say no to me when he could have as many
see,
men as he
here's the
wanted in
thing. From
Atlanta?
a woman's point of view, and I assume that men are like that are the same, but for a woman's point of view, the thing that's so concerning to me is like we've all met a dirtbag guy or two. He's not just harassing Derek. He is harassing a whole slew of people. This is what he's into. So when he's bored, he texts Derek. Then he might text Kenny. Then he might text Wanda. Like this is just the way they roll. So it's kind of like in Hollywood, the fact that it's so, like you said, the casting couch, that it's so regulated. Did you feel comfortable being, let me put you in on-site housing, let me give you a job, let me do this, let me do that? You just got done with this with Kristen Keys. Really quick, Jennifer Daggle said, who will be the next to fall? I don't know. And here's your whole point. I do want to say, Mel, you said that it's not on the level of Diddy stuff because there's no escorts, there's no freak off, and there's no violence. However, for Tyler Perry to have built something like this and have this lawsuit going on, and you think if this guy's there, there's a lot more people that are on his payroll. You know what
That's
I'm
true.
saying?
I've
Oh, listen,
Yes,
Blessed
yes,
Child said,
yes.
Mel, let's keep it real. He playing black woman because he want to be them. What do you feel about that?
I don't. You know what you see for me, bless the child. I almost feel like
And
he panders to black women.
that's what I was going to say.
I feel like he, yeah, I feel like he panders to them. I feel like he feels like he mimics them, and he's brilliant at a way to serve that demographic that he gives those the
Mhm.
people that what they want. I think he panders to them
I
in a
I
way.
agree when you say
Um,
that, like when Blessed Child was saying like, oh no, what do you say about that? I agree with you. I think he panders, he gives what he wants, but it's almost the way Dr. Umar panders to black women, but he is so toxic. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't think he wants to be a black
yeah,
woman. I think he realized that through black women, he could create a lane because that's all he does. He creates soap operas that are movies. He creates the same way we watch Korean dramas. Well, I do Chinese dramas. A Tyler Perry is the drama. It's so unbelievable. It's larger than life. It's amusing. It is what it is, right? It's black dramas, and he realized that there was a lane that was underserved. And he got into that lane and did what he could to pander to it. And now he's a billionaire from it. So, yeah, I don't think he wants to be a black woman. I think he just realized that was the quickest way for him to get rich. And once he did that, he doubled and tripled down on it, you know? Tracy Lee, thank you so much for the super chat.
yeah.
Also, Melissa Buddha said, Tisa, what's your thoughts on the Kim Porter memoirs? If true, she calls out a lot. Listen, I did a live where I read the Kim Porter memoirs. I do think it's funny that they tried to get the memoir shut down and said it was all lies. And then they literally filed a petition to say, well, we own the rights. So I actually do think that there was something in that memoir that was true, because why else did these people not sue to get it shut down, but sue for ownership? Also, Holly W said, let Tisa sleep. Hardest work on YouTube. No, I don't want to sleep. I'm so happy that Mel got in here. Mel, what else have you heard about Tyler Perry, or even that whole little section of what's going on? Do you think, based off of what you heard, that there's credibility to this lawsuit?
Yes, I do, and it wasn't shocking to me. This type of lawsuit. I think even before Christian Keys, again and again, it's all alleged, and you don't know if I'm not there, but you do hear stories about, I'm going to say, bodybuilders, very muscular guys in between their 20s and their early 30s, who you can see on on his programs a lot, who are not really good actors, and you do hear stories about, I was working down in Atlanta, and you hear stories about, gifts
Yeah.
or things like that. So you do hear things. So yeah, this is not shocking to me.
Yeah, I don't think it's shocking at all either. I do think it's shocking that at this day and age, people are still, it's kind of like, it's like working and you are taking all the post-it notes from the office closet, taking pens home to notebooks. And there's a company
Mhm.
might memo saying, yo, somebody just got fired for this, and we're now like going to start watching this. Why would you keep doing that? I just don't understand. But like you said, it's deeper than that. There's something about control, and they want to take it from someone that's not down. Much like a man that's sexually harassing a woman. Yeah, you could think the woman's so so desirable to the man, but really what it is they like the fact that they're just like, ew, yuck, and they're going to make sure that they break them down because they want the person that's saying yuck to them. Nelly Karinian, thank you so carry on. Thank you so much for the super chat. Listen, so go on.
So no, I was going to say, so you know what? Again, all the labs based on this lawsuit and from what we read here, it's just basically giving me um, a man who is in the closet and who is very awkward, and he uses games to talk about, well, don't you think this is sexy? You should get this drink. I mean, what kind of positions do you do? These are all these kind of questions, and even in some of the documents here, I think he even said one of his trips or whatever, they went on a trip, and he said, well, if somebody touched you or even hit on you on our trip, then I would just want to burn this island down. And it almost sounds like a line out of his maybe Medea movies. It's very cheesy. It is. And like when you read all the things he says to him, it's like, oh, no wonder, no shade to him, but no wonder his movies sounded with, because that's the way he think and talk. So it's very cheesy, very soap opera, very that. So it's definitely giving me closeted man who loves his money, and he end up telling guys that he want to do them favors, and then he starts these questions about what do you like,
Yeah.
and are you into women and stuff like that, and then so it's
Listen,
definitely given
Mel,
that kind of
I
situation.
have an idea. Okay. First of all, you are handsome. You must find Tyler Perry attractive. What if I'll relocate you down to Atlanta? You get a job with Tyler
Oh
Perry.
Lord.
Make sure when he comes in the room, you're like, oh, yuck, yucky. I would never. Make sure you make it seem that you would never. As a matter of fact, just be like, no, I have to get home to my wife, Tisa, right? Tyler Perry starts to push up on you. You become a millionaire. And you can retire me
Listen,
from YouTube. All you got to say is, I got to get home to my wife, Tisa. And just make sure you say yuck, 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 yuck the whole time, because Tyler would be into it. You are a very handsome man, Mel. You can get into it. You can get into it again. But again, I say that jokingly, but you would literally have to act like you were disgusted with him and didn't want anything with him. And he would push up on you so hard. Again, I can't help but think, even with the studio, you can be into what you're into. You can do this, you can do that. Why are all these people, but again, it's about control and power, using their actual corporation
get it.
to fund their harem? Kimberly Norman said maybe it's control and it does something for them. It's
Yeah.
interesting. This came out after he said he has made more millionaires on the BET Awards. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Well, I mean, I know I've heard this on. Listen, this thing I was reading this before you got to it. And I'm loving that you covering it. Yeah, I heard that. And it's sad. It is sad because you know, on one hand, he is helping a lot of people make a lot of money.
Mm,
It's very true, and the people on Twitter are conflicted. They're like, oh my gosh, you know, we think, or some people think that the industry doesn't like that this man is making so
yeah,
many black millionaires, and you know it's so hard. And we have Taraji, you know, of course, last year, the other
yeah.
year, saying how hard it is for black people to make millions. But the thing is, you can be a good businessman, but be very awkward and very predatory in your private life.
Hmm.
You really can. So two things could be happening. It's very sad that it's happening. But I want to go back to what you said because you kind of gagged me there. It's very funny. Um, no, so see, if Tyler hit on me, he would be in trouble because we're into the same thing. Like, you know what? And not to get too graphic, we both listen. We both tops. Let's put it that way. So,
But the
yeah,
job
yeah, yeah,
is to
yeah. So
tease,
it would,
tease them,
yeah.
because it seems like you could get cars, but you might even get a yacht.
You know what? You know what? To be honest with you, my soul is where I rather. You know what he said? Because I love talking to you. I rather put a vending machine in every school
Hmm.
around New York City than to be going around and dealing with this harassment. Because I probably
Yeah,
punch him out. To be honest with you, I
yeah.
would. I wouldn't.
But
Yeah, no, I would. I
but
don't
the
have the
thing
patience
is,
for that
though,
crap.
what do you think? Because this guy Derek does make a good point. Think about it. We all have this fantasy that people, that billionaires can just be, and they can afford to just be generous for no problem. He was under the impression that Tyler didn't like men. So when Tyler took an interest with him, it's like, yo, I saw your reel, I saw your acting, you should come on thing. He really felt like, oh my God, I just got discovered by a director. The same way if a female director, yeah, if I sat back and thought about it, like, why is she just picking you out of everyone? But if there was a woman that I didn't know she liked women, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm finally getting like discovered. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. But you know what, Tisa, and you would love this. Yeah, have you saw this controversial, very controversial picture that I love called "The Apprentice" about a young Donald Trump. We don't want to talk about him, but it was connected to Roy
Oh,
Cohn, who's
yes, yes.
very infamous, and he was a very powerful lawyer who was in the
Really?
closet, and every time he had somebody, oh
I
yeah,
didn't
very
know that.
very, he was connected to. Yes, he was a very. It's a whole story to that. But Roy Cohn would have the people, the young guys, come over and say, "I'm a brilliant lawyer. I have connections. If you want to make it in New York City, well, I want you to come over to my apartment at
Oh,
nighttime to drink some
wow.
champagne, and I'll tell you." Yeah, so that's kind of it. So you know, this what Talia is doing is basically a
Yeah.
coercion, the word that everybody's been using. You know, very coercive. Um, yeah, I think that he's in
But
the,
it's
you know,
also
based on this
really
article against
stupid.
alleged.
Like, again, I just got to say this really quick. Jay, thank you so much. You said the Boondocks predicted this, predicted or knew, just like Mel's, like, I've heard things. But again, predicted or knew. Also, Candy FM said, hi, T. So you're doing a great job. I'll be launching something soon for indie artists. Great that do not have to deal with diddlers. Stay tuned. Thank you for what you do. Candy FM and Co-Pop Media. Listen, we are waiting for it. KK Scorpio said, in any first meeting between two people, it's a chase that turns a man on. They are hunters by nature. This is what Tyler Perry turned him on even more. Just from okay. You guys could be right. But I will say this really quick. Blessed Child said he liked light skinned men. There are the heroes in the movies, and dark skinned men are the villains. Tyler Perry be working his own psychobabble, you know?
That's right.
Carlissa Vanna
That's right.
Okor, thank you so much for joining the family. And also, hold on really quick. Um, Tracy Lill, Dynamic Mama 3 said the Boondocks warned us. Pause. Season 3, episode 7. I remember that episode. The Boondocks was so good. Um, Here's the thing I want to say, right? And this goes especially to Tyler Perry, because from this lawsuit, he was being a creep and a perv, and definitely it sounds like he was assaulting people, right? So I don't want to make law, right? Not
Oh
anything
yeah.
to the level of Diddy, but I just can't understand why, when you have so much that's given, you would throw it away over this fetish of chasing somebody that didn't want you. Do you know? Listen.
Hmm.
Oh, Blessed Child said, Mel, what black billionaire did he? What black billionaire that he made? I'll wait. Well, he is the person. Go on, go on.
Well, no, no. So I think that so again, what the other comment said was that he made black millions. I think they're talking about all the people he pays in his
Hmm.
movies. I think that Taraji, I think all her movies with him is
Yeah,
getting a million plus. So he's definitely paying her a
yeah,
million per film. And I think Megan Good got a million too for her
yes.
movie, that crazy
Divorce and
Divorce to Be Black and stuff. Oh, and wait a minute. Also, it's this wonderful actress,
yes.
Debbie Morgan. She was from All My Children. She said, I never got all that money in my life of working in 30 years. So he pays the actresses, and I believe some of the
Hmm.
actors very well. A million or half. He pays a
Yeah,
lot of money to his talent. Again, I don't know Tyler Perry. I don't ever read his biography and all that, but I know from just the interviews that some of the black women. I think even Angela Bassett got a good, payment from him too. So he pays them very
exactly.
well.
He does. He does. Felicia Vargas said, "Keep it up, girl. God bless you." Listen, Mal. Listen. We're going to have to read the rest of this lawsuit part two because it's 46 pages and we are only on page 14. It descends into chaos. Perhaps we
Okay.
can do the dramatic reading. We might have to do some parts. I will say this. It's really disappointing with Tyler Perry that anything like the fact that he would put himself in this situation. I got to tell you the truth. Um, I don't have any thoughts, good or bad, about Tyler Perry. I admire the businessman he's in, but hearing that he was so sloppy, so creepy, so pervy, how hard is it just not to keep your business out of this mess? And how hard is it to not have a casting couch? I don't understand. Now they can make an argument that as soon as he said, I did all the black billionaires, but at the end of the day, he knew this lawsuit was coming. He's a billionaire. Why didn't he settle? Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. On one hand, it's like, I understand what everyone's saying. But on the other hand, it's like, you did it. You did it. You did it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprise again. I think, like we're saying, if it's a shocking lawsuit, just because I don't know. It just feels like if he was honest about what he wanted, and if he came out, if this is all true, so alleged, he came out as bisexual man, that would be the end of it. That would totally be the end of it. And he had so many different opportunities to connect with people down in Atlanta that are literally
Mm-hmm.
throwing themselves at him. Beautiful man. So it does. It's just very puzzling to why it's happening. I feel in my spirit that it's the same dilemma that some preachers go through when they happen to be conflicted about themselves. They get wrapped up into a very powerful career. They can't really get out of it. No matter if it's 2030, there's certain parts of the country, certain parts of audiences that don't that are very conservative, and they some of these guys are afraid of that. I don't know why. I don't understand. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
could think of because um, being gay is not really a scandal in 2025, or even
It's not a
bisexual.
scandal. It's not a drag. It's like
Yeah,
saying, okay, like, but here's the thing. I think Tyler knows that. I do agree with you, Mel. There has to be something deeper going on. There has to be. This is
yeah.
not, even in 2005, I'm like, well, maybe you look in the most conservative corner, people will just shrug their shoulders. It literally, thank God, the rights and understanding have come so far that people are like, okay, like, what else you got? People are worried, are you a pervert or not? And that's where he messed up.
That's right.
Again, this power and control. Felicia Vargas, thank you so much. You said, keep it up, girl. God bless you. Again, I don't know what to think of this Tyler Perry stuff. I do see a lot of y'all being like, you don't think it's odd? It came up after the BET speech. I do not. I think he has a lawyer that was on his ass. They didn't want to settle. They waited until he had a big moment, and then you drop the lawsuit because part of dropping the lawsuit is embarrassing them. The only thing I want to know about this lawsuit is there any truth to it? Is there any truth to it? Because if it is, then that's your dumbness. That is your dumbness that you're creating a situation. And let's not act like, oh, it could have happened to anyone. No, it couldn't have. No, it couldn't have. It couldn't have happened to me. It couldn't happen to Mel. Like I said, Mel would be literally feeding the homeless and I would be giving them free ice cream. the fact that we are acting like when somebody gets a certain amount of money, what else are they supposed to do? I don't know. Just not be a weirdo. Mel, what do you say to that? Let's get the closing thoughts. What do you say to that, Mel?
Well, the closing thoughts is I agree with you as I always do. I just think that what again this couple of weeks with the Diddy trial and this coming out, it just feels like to me that these guys, and maybe some women too who are in power positions, who knows what will come out about some women, but I'm going to focus on these men, especially Tyler Perry. I feel like there's some insecurity there. There's some fear there. That's why he's treating people in this way. That this is harassment. It's totally harassment. If
Mm-hmm.
everything that's alleged here is true, it's terrible. The person went through all that, and I think that if it's true, that Tyler Perry needs some help. He needs some help to make amends with people and to not hurt people by controlling them, and also to
Mm-hmm.
love on himself, because it just seems like if you are that attracted to men, again based on this lawsuit, then you're very sad. You're a very sad person. You don't need to hurt other people because you're attracted to them. You can be honest
Yeah.
about that. And there's something else going on. So we shall see what's going on. And do you think, because I'm going to you, you're a specialist in this. I feel, and I'm not like you, it's
Without
going
a
to be settled.
doubt,
I believe that
this is
before
going
the
to be
week
a
is
Diddy
out.
24-hour
Okay.
settlement. But now that he let that come out, I think a
Yeah,
lot of his un unrequited boy toys are going to come out and take a
that's
stab.
right.
Nurse K said, didn't Frank Ocean get blackballed for coming out? No, he did not. Frank Ocean, a little scammer. Frank Ocean did not get blackballed for coming out. Even when thinking of you rose to the charts, Frank Ocean ain't coming out because he just don't feel like performing. Also, somebody said Terry Crews told us what happened and he lost his career. Terry Crews is booked and busy, especially for a Black actor, because the lifespans of Black actors and actresses, the careers aren't that long. Terry Crews is still booked and busy, and he stays with a show. So I get what you guys are saying, but no, that did not in fact happen. Again, Nurse K said, however, Tyler should know better. I'll put it like this, right? It is, especially in a field like that where it is luck, the most depressing thing in the world that you have to even consider entertaining someone in order to get an opportunity. And like Mel said, the casting couch is back. It never, ever, ever left. And that's what needs to be changed. And here's
Mhm.
the thing, if Tyler was sending these messages, but it did not affect the guy's job at all, there wouldn't be a case. You cannot you cannot sue someone just because you're like, ew, leave me alone, right? As long as they're not stalking you. If he was sending these messages and the guy was like, yeah, come on now, stop it, and his job was never in danger, he didn't feel it, there would be no case. The issue is that Tyler was letting him know it was pay to play. You know, Tyler was letting him know it was pay to play. And
Yeah.
it also goes to the other people in the industry, because with these sexual harassment lawsuits, the new law is, let's just say that like Tyler was going after Mel, right? And I'm on the set, he ain't paying me no mind. He's mushing me like, Tisa, move. Where's Mel? Literally mushing me in the face every morning, like, move out the way, right? However, I can also sue him for sexual harassment because of the environment he created, restricted my opportunities, and also put me in the middle.
Mhm.
So you can sue just because I'm in the middle and I see the way you're treating Mel and I'm being affected. So I'm suing you too. So Tyler Perry is, by mixing his work with this mess. Again, this is all alleged. This guy could be lying, but it's a lot of details. And he got the text messages. Tyler Perry literally put in jeopardy everything that he created and everything he built just because he wanted to send Derek pictures of his booty. That, like, it's just like, it's ridiculous to me. And the fact, and I remember my boyfriend told me a long time ago when I was talking about people with corruption, just hear me out. And I was like, this is so weird that like a politician would risk it all for like
That's
$50,000. And I'm
right.
like, that's so weird and so low sided. And I remember he told me, no, you got to think about it. They've gotten so comfortable taking kickbacks and so comfortable being corrupt that when they see a little $50,000 bribe, they don't even try to cover it up. They get sloppy because they're like, oh, grow up. 50,000, that's nothing. That's child's play. And they get sloppy. So when you see somebody get sloppy over these little things, it's because they've done it at such a large scale that they look at this as child's play and they start to get desensitized to how bad what they're doing. I do believe that was what Tyler was doing. If this is true, to this guy, Derek. He does this so much that he looks at this like, oh, grow up. You know, who hasn't been groped in my house? Who doesn't get these text messages? Again, and this is why these type of lawsuits are so important. It's indicative that this is the way you move. This is your modus operandi. And there are worse things than that. Mel, what's your take on that?
Well, I agree with you, and I would say it's too, Tisa. When I was younger, and not to get too detailed, there are moments when as a young gay man living in the city, you date and do stuff, and then you go somewhere, you chill out, and you get comfortable. And I have been in positions where I was feel very uncomfortable, where people were pressuring me when I was younger, and it's frightening. It's very frightening. So I think that Tyler, what he did, again, if this also is true, it's very traumatizing to this person, and I hope it all works out. Also, you report on the royal family. I was thinking about that when you were just talking, and I'm thinking when you get to a certain level in politics, or you are coming from a really famous family, or you become very wealthy, you almost you sort of put yourself in a little bubble. You get into a bubble where you start coveting your actors who work for you, the people that your cooks for you, and stuff like that, because you say, well, you know what, I can't go out on the dating site and say I'm Tyler Perry or whoever, and then try to get people to come to my home, even though you could if you were honest about that, if you weren't hurting people. I'm gonna be embarrassed if I go out there as Tyler Perry. So I'm going to now get an actor on this show who maybe is not coming to a set with his girlfriend all the time, who
Yeah.
maybe is alone, or who I can sort of, or who has the money issues. I think as you put here, who's living alone, having money issues. This would be the type of person who I'm gonna say is very attractive, who I'm gonna invite to my home, who I'm going to
Yeah.
grope multiple times and make them feel uncomfortable. And because unfortunately the guy, there's no shade to him. I'm not blaming the victim. He didn't report him. In his mind, he go, well, it's a
Yeah.
game. I think at one point he started blaming, saying that you didn't say no loud enough. And so then it was this whole mix there, and then all money
Yeah.
came into it. So I think Tyler, again, I've heard things that the closer you are in working with him, the
That
safer he
makes
feels with
sense.
you. And
That
then
makes sense. That
horseplay
makes
starts
sense.
happening. Some horseplay
No,
gets
that
in.
makes
Yeah.
sense. In moneyed circles or even in famous circles, they're very protective, so you can't breach it. But once you breach it, like you said, they're in the inner circle, and you'd be
Hmm.
surprised how many people that have like money, wealth, all this stuff, their inner circle is very small. Once you breach that, it's like they stay in their inner circle because you're right. They have so many people coming at them. They feel like they've already pre-approved you. So you will stay in that circle of, yeah, you're right.
That's
You
right.
are right about that. Um, Bless Child said, Tisa, I was signed with a big label that I got dropped from because I said no, God first. He was 2022 BET Awards winners fact. Again, this is the one thing that nobody talks about. When somebody says he never said a hard no, when somebody is in charge of you, where you live, where you work, and you are an industry leader, let's not be so naive that you're like, should I? And here's the thing, everybody makes their own choices. Even though when you say no, you are blacklisted, right? But he thought, like you said, I could play the game and walk this sort of Damocles and just like, keep going with it. So I can see how he thought if he played the game, he could get away with it. And eventually Tyler put his foot down and he said, well, okay, I'm suing, Also, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say too. I was gonna say too. We also, and you know what? I love, 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 live for Miss Rose McGowan, and so there are many women like her who that had those careers that were going real high, and next thing you know, they just kind of get pushed
Mhm.
and blackballed. So you do hear those stories all the time for men and women. And now you're talking about Diddy. When you hear
Yeah,
that in the music industry or in entertainment, you do hear this person is very powerful, and they have ended so many different careers. And it was just a couple of years ago that they were in charge. Now they've been
exactly.
exposed, and now the power is being taken back. Thank God to YouTube and other places where people could come and actually express themselves without being censored by main media,
Exactly.
basically, because they're afraid to be sued.
Listen,
So, it was a different. years ago. And I'm happy that people are coming out now and knowing that if you have a story and you've been harassed, yeah, you should definitely protect yourself and defend yourself.
Exactly. Also, Natasha said Tyler told Oprah he was abused only to become the alleged abuser. Exactly. You guys, I will just say this
That's
to what
crazy.
Mel's saying. I will never fault anyone for not throwing away their life to say no. Now, you can say what
Yeah.
you would do in that situation. I hope to God none of us are ever in the situation that a yes or no can completely ruin your life and blackball you. But I would never fault someone for making it. It's a mess up decision, whether you say yes or no, or whether you try to play the game. If you say no, they will blackball you. If you say yes, now you just gave your body. If you try to play the game and he was like, I need therapy. I'm trying to see what a mental block is. But you were trying to extend it until you could get in there. Everybody in that situation has a
Yeah.
messed up choice to make with horrible consequences. We need to start looking at the person that's actually setting those options out because everybody's losing. Even the people that say no, like blessed child, even the people that say no, everybody is losing. And like you said, things are changing, but let's not forget there are still heavy industry gatekeepers. You have Tyler, Oprah, that whole set. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Oprah is but isn't Oprah just being subpoenaed in Drew Dixon's lawsuit against Russell Simmons? Right? So, or is it Andre Harrell? The point is, Drew Dixon got a new lawsuit out. Oprah's being subpoenaed, all this stuff. Again, when you go against one industry gatekeeper, you're not just going against one, you're going against all their friends, all their supporters, all their lackeys, and it's a lot to ask somebody to do. And when they do the right thing, ain't nobody helping them pay their bills. Again, everybody's choice is the same, but I think we need to
That's
stop
right.
judging the choices people make when at the end of the day, with their blacklisted, who's helping them? And you see what I'm saying? Mel, weigh in on that at the closing statement.
Yeah. Well, I want you listen. Like the audience say. I want Miss Tisa to get some to chill out and get a chance to go eat and relax because she had a long day. But I will say this in closing, so that you can close out and just send you good vibes. You're right. You're absolutely right because not to take it too dark, but there was the show called On the Set, and there were documentaries called The Open Secret about the Bryan Singers and about the people who work with kids in the industry. And it's very true. Is that it's the industry can be very dark, and there's a lot of predators in it, and things are changing now. So yeah, I'm hoping that more people can speak they truth, but it's very recent, and it's unfortunate who we have in the
Yeah.
office out of I shouldn't
Listen,
go there.
I
Shouldn't
get
go
what
there.
you're
But
saying. Really quick,
you're
Nurse
right.
Nightingale said Allie Carter told a story about Oprah and Tyler Perry. I don't know that story, but y'all can check it out. T Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. But I really honestly do hope that, Mel, that people start learning their lesson. Like, how hard is it to be a decent person? How hard is it? I'm really getting confused. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that where is Iyanla when you need her? Because
yeah.
basically all these people have had some wounds, and there's no excuse. I'm not making excuses for predators, but there's some insecurities there. There's some wounds there. It makes no sense why, in the modern time, people who even, not to switch to Diddy, but even with Diddy, like I'm like, sir, just open up an adult
Yeah.
film studio. That's it. Point blank. You deal with people who are into that kind of lifestyle. You don't
Yeah.
seduce people into that. And with Tyler Perry, I know that you feel scared to be exposed, but if you feel that strongly that
Yeah.
you're attracted to men, then that's something you have to reconcile with yourself. You have to really own it.
Yeah, again, it's
Yeah,
like if you're straight and you're trying to seduce a lesbian or a gay man, it's like, I am straight, leave me alone. Christian Keys said that a woman tried to seduce him.
that's right.
Well, I don't know if Christian Keys is straight or not. It doesn't matter. The whole point of the matter is it's like everybody stay in their lane. Joel Smith, thank you so much for becoming the newest member of A Tattletale. Anyway, listen, Mel, we are going to have to continue this conversation tomorrow because this is a whole lot of lawsuit to read with juicy details. I will say this, Mel. Why don't you tell everybody your socials if you'd like them to follow you? Go on, Mel.
Well, you know what? You could just hit the YouTube channel because I think eventually I'm going to do something over there. And so it's Mel
Yes.
YC Reviews. And that's it. I'll be around. Tisa is the only one I talk to on
Listen,
YouTube.
Mel
So
NYC Reviews, he is going to be launching his own talk. He has a voice that has launched the nation. We are going to do an end of the week recap with Diddy, where we talk about a lot of stuff. It's going to be really, really nice. But in any case, in the meantime, please go to Mel NYC Reviews. He's going to give me a link to his YouTube page. I'll put it in the description box if you watch it on playback, and you guys can go support him. And we are going to uplift him and get him up here in this commentary because he has some of the best commentary ever. Mel, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you.
thank you, Miss Tisa, my sister,
All
honey.
right,
Thank you, thank
Mel.
you, thank you.
Thank y'all.